Hi, I'm Kelsey, and today I'm making chicken pesto meatballs with spaghetti squash. Hi everyone, welcome to today's Facebook Live event. My name is Kelsey, and today we're making chicken pesto meatballs. Pesto is a great condiment to use with the program, especially there's only one way to make it. Most pestos are made with either cheese or some sort of nut. This is a program-approved pesto recipe, super easy. I'm gonna start by making that first, then I'm gonna add that to the chicken meatballs and also pairing that with some spaghetti squash. So I'll show you what I have here. For the chicken meatballs, I just have ground chicken, I'll add an egg, some spices, I have onion powder, oregano, salt, and pepper. And then I'll be adding in the pesto into that as well. You can also add in some frozen spinach or raw spinach to your meatballs if you choose to. For the pesto, I'm going to use this avocado extra virgin olive oil blend, some minced garlic, some basil. To start, before I make the pesto, I'm going to make the spaghetti squash. If you've never made this before, it's super easy. If you're on the program, this is one of the limited veggies, so you just want to be careful of how much you're having per week. What I did, since it's challenging and embarrassing to cut on camera, I cut these in half so it looks like this at the grocery store. Because this is a really tough vegetable to cut into, you want to, what I did was I poked it with a fork a bunch of different times all over, microwaved it for about 3 minutes to get a little bit softer, then I cut it in half. I used some extra virgin olive oil to coat the top. I'm just gonna use some black pepper on either of these. You can skip this step if you don't want to, I just think it tastes better. And some sea salt. I have my oven set to 400. I'm going to put these face down like this. Bake it in the oven. I'm gonna do about 30 minutes. I'll check on that afterwards. So for the basil pesto, this is my first time making it, so bear with me, but I'm super excited. So I cut up some basil off this little basil package here. This will also be a really good recipe for the summertime if you grow your own basil. I'm just gonna put it in here like this. Okay, then I'm gonna take some minced garlic. So for this, I love using minced garlic just because it's a lot easier. I don't have to cut it up. So it says half a teaspoon equals 1 clove of garlic. So I'm gonna do 2 of these, since the recipe calls for 4. And I'm gonna start with a half a cup of avocado oil. And see how that goes. You can always add more or less depending on the consistency of how you like your pesto. I might add some more basil too, depending on what it looks like. So this is how it looks going in. I'm just adding it to my NutriBullet Magic Bullet. Smells delicious. So that's kind of what it looks like. Definitely more on the liquid side. I think if I made this again, I would probably do less olive oil, but what I'll just do instead is add the rest of this basil here. So this recipe is a program approved recipe. If you make this or any others, please comment below and let us know. If you have any recipes that you want me to make, also let me know. I love hearing from everyone. All right, last of the basil is in here. This definitely looks better. Looks good to me. So I'm going to keep this in my container here. Put all this stuff to the side. Now for my chicken meatballs, I'm going to do 1 egg. And ground chicken. I don't know how this recipe would taste with other types of meat, but it's worth a shot trying it out. Now I'm going to add in some spices. So I'm doing oregano. If I had basil, which I used it all, I'd probably use that as well. I'm going to do some black pepper, onion powder. I'm going to hold off on the garlic just because I'm going to use some of the pesto in the meatballs. I'm just eyeballing it. I'm going to use a little bit. You can also use the rest of the pesto as a sauce for your spaghetti squash. Since ground chicken is more of a lean cut of meat, this will be sticky, so I'm going to try mixing it first with the spoon. Then when I make it into little meatballs, I'll use my hands, but I'll wash my hands first. I wish you could smell this because it smells really good. My videographer will agree. All right, so this is what it looks like so far. For the meatballs, obviously they'd be a little bit more on the green side if you were using more spinach. Well, spinach in general. I'm gonna wash my hands. It recommends to grease a cooking sheet. I always like using the silicone mat. Highly recommend it if you don't have it. It's great for cooking anything, nothing burns on the bottom or sticks. So this recipe should make about 12 to 14 meatballs. So I would say about 3 or 4 meatballs would be your serving size that you're going for. We'll see how many these make. I think because of how much liquid I used for the pesto, they're a lot less sticky than I had anticipated. There also on the website is a recipe for buffalo chicken meatballs, which would be great for a Super Bowl dish. You could also, if you're making this as an appetizer, you could make them into smaller, like mini meatballs would be a good option too. Okay, well, now these are getting a little sticky. You can always feel free to wet your hands in between if you're having difficulty, which I might do soon. So this is 6 so far, and I definitely have over more than half, so these will be, I'll probably make 14. We'll see. These definitely aren't perfect. You could also, if you have, some people have like scoopers, like those, and that's also an easy way to make sure everything is the same size. It's a lot larger than the others. So right now I have 12, well, 13. I'll make 15. Cool. So my meatballs are all ready to go. I'm going to put these in the oven after I wash my hands for about 20 minutes and check on them, and then I'll also be checking on my spaghetti squash at that point. So my spaghetti squash is all done. This is my dog Ryder. He is very interested in what I'm making. So this is all set. It's gonna be very hot. So this is what it looks like, all done, and all you do is this. Just kind of scrape like this. Forms little strands. You can tell when it's done, when it's really easy to pull apart. If it wasn't done, I would say like it wouldn't be moving this quickly. So in terms of amount, you want to have 2 cups. If you have 2 cups of spaghetti squash each week, then that would be as much. That would be it for your limited veggies if you're on the program. So you just want to be careful of how much you're having. So I'm just going to add this to my, I'm eyeballing this, but you can also, like the recipe said, you could always add in some chopped spinach as well to get in more veggies. You can also serve this over cauliflower rice or zucchini noodles. So this is all set. This is what this looks like. So now I'm going to check on my meatballs. Excuse me. Thank you. These are great. So I put them in at 400 for about 18 minutes, so these will definitely be done. So I'm going to take 3 of these. Like this. I'll take some of my pesto. So here's my finished product. Make sure you like the color green. Looks great. If you make this recipe or any others, please let me know, and I can't wait to see you next time.